Okay, Alvaro, as you know, you have 15 minutes to present. After your presentation, you'll receive questions by the commission. You may start.
Okay, so good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes. Well, my research, the title of my research is the reflection on the use of audiovisual aids and students' learning awareness. Okay. To put you in a context, the research was made in San Andres School, which is placed in Maipú, in a 6th grade with 40 students. Well, as the first task while doing the beginning of the research, it's merely based on observations. I started to watch that the students were quite reluctant to participate in the class and to show like some kind of interest in the class when the class was given in the traditional way. It means the teacher with the textbook and the whiteboard. So there was another class when the teacher uses these audiovisual aids, which were a video, listenings, and the PowerPoint presentation. That really kept my attention. So I tried to focus my research on that. The purpose of the following study is an attempt to understand how the use of audiovisual aids may be reflected on students' awareness of their own learning process, and this is made through the exposure of the students to the audiovisual aids. These aids were made based on what the unit and the school was requesting, which in this case were focused on the unit of giving directions. Well, the paradigm used in the research was the interpretive one, which it's focused on the the real world. So well, there is a quote that says the investigators that use the interpretive paradigm were directly with experience and decided to build their theory on them. The research question that came up with the research was how the use of audiovisual aids may be reflected on students' awareness of their own learning process. Okay. After the research question, there was a general objective that came up, that was to try, it's like an attempt to interpret how the use of these aids may be reflected also on the students' awareness. After this general objective came up, there was two specific objectives. That was the first one, the developing of an intervention related with the class objectives using audiovisual aids, and then to the examination of the students' perceptions towards the use of the audiovisual aids. Well, the assumptions I made was that there is a very possible reason for using the audiovisual aids, that in the nowadays context, students tend to get bored or it doesn't get their attention, the classes that are made in the traditional way, as I said before. So we as teachers, we need to use these kind of materials to, as said in the slide, to get out of everydayness. But there is a quote: using audiovisual aids as a teaching method stimulates thinking and improves learning environment in the classroom, and the effective use of these audiovisual aids substitutes the monotonous learning environment. Well, regarding trustworthiness, for the creation of the materials, there was an assessment made by the advisor teachers and my peers. almost all the like the feedback was quite similar, so I take it all into account to then create the materials. So as the specific objectives were developing an intervention, first I have to create a lesson plan. This was the lesson plan I created for my intervention. Because as I said before, there were two classes that I observed that really get my attention. That was the one made with the audiovisual aids, and the one that wasn't made with the audiovisual aids. And also for the second objective, that was examining students' perceptions towards the use of the audiovisual aids, was a survey. I made the survey with closed questions to, in a way, try to avoid like getting away of the path to, I forget the word, that is to avoid like misunderstandings and that. Even though the paradigm of the interpretive paradigm says that the answers given by the ones that are being interviewed it has to be open for them to express what they really think. For the data analysis of the interview, there was two coding families that arose. That was the participation in the English management. Before the intervention, my intervention, students were very reluctant to participate voluntarily when producing, when speaking. This was because after the implementation of the audiovisual aids, students didn't pay that much attention to the entire class. So after the intervention that was with the use of the audiovisual aids, I could realize that the students were like, in a way, very hooked to the class. So the children's participation was incredible. They all wanted to be part of the class when the teacher made questions. These notes were taken from the observation records that are in the report. Well, in the use of the second language, the major part of the students didn't answer the question because they say they didn't know what to say, even though the teacher explained the vocabulary needed. So that was before the interventions, and after that, the students showed a great language management by answering the vocabulary of the lesson, which surprisingly was the same they didn't knew how to use in the previous classes because the content were the same. This class and the one that was taught in the traditional way and the one with the audiovisual aids were the same contents or quite similar. So the mostly the vocabulary was the same. For this survey, the data analysis, there were 4 questions. The first one was, ¿se te hace más fácil entender el idioma inglés con el uso de los materiales audiovisuales? Most of the students answered that yes, these aids were, in a way, gets easier the acquisition of the language. For the second question is, do you think, ¿crees que el uso de los materiales audiovisuales tales como videos, audio, imágenes, etcétera, son de ayuda para facilitar tu aprendizaje en el idioma inglés? And most of the students says also that yes, that these materials help them to acquire the language. The third question was, ¿te gustaría utilizar estos materiales de manera más seguida en las clases de inglés? Here, surprisingly, the question was, the 100% of the students says that yes, they would like to use this kind of materials more often in the English class. This question I found, this answer I found it quite interesting, because in the fourth one, they say that encuentras útiles estos materiales para aprender nuevos contenidos. There were 90% of the students that said yes. After, they were the 100% that they would like to use it more often. So I found interesting that even though they would like to use the audiovisual aids more often, there are a minimal part of the students that said that that these kind of materials are not that useful for learning new contents. Well, so as a conclusion, the use of the material facilitates the process of learning. This means that for the students, after the application of the test that was made by the material teacher, they shown like better marks, the ones that in the items that the unit that I taught with the use of audiovisual aids, they show better marks and more like complete responses in the test. And also the awareness of the students about the aids. Through the survey, I could realize that the students really think and believe that the use of these audiovisual aids will help them to learn in a better way the target language. I'll now talk about the limitations. That the main limitation one of the limitations I had was the lack of time due to different situations, activities of the school, and health conditions of my tutor teacher. I lose several classes. For example, in the first class, the students were doing the test, so I couldn't observe anything. I had to cover my teacher in the class like 2 or 3 times. There were some activities also at the school that were organized on the Wednesdays that I have my practicum, so I used quite amount of lessons. The other problem that was a several problem I had, that the problems I had with my tutor teacher. These problems was a bigger limitation for me, because well, also I lost classes with trying to solve these problems with the teacher, and I really felt ignored by the teacher and I felt that the teacher didn't give me the importance I needed for doing the research in a proper way. Well, regarding the metacognitive analysis, the one that was assigned to me was the learning objective number 7 from a 5th grade. Okay, so the learning objective says read comprehensively simple and adapted literary texts such as rhymes, songs, and stories that contain frequently used words, word families, repetition of words and phrases, and accompanied by abundant visual support. Identifying the general theme of the text, character, places, and the setting, the sequence of events, and thematic vocabulary of expressions in the common use. Well, here what I planned for an hypothetical like lesson is that the students will need to have and I will link this with my presentation. They will need to have like an visual aid, because in this way they can get more familiar with what the text is saying. For example, we can present them the text itself and accompany this with an image. So for them to like try to convey a meaning of the text with the image, a relation between them. So, well, my weaknesses regarding especially when reading with reading tasks, is for me the lack of knowledge about what literature may be interesting for students, because this is quite personal, because I don't like inform much about what is the actual literature that is interesting for the new generations, because I actually read what I like and what is for my what is my likes. And also for the time management, what I refer with time management is that I will also I will be like not taking into account the time I had prepared for the task, because I want always to get secure that my students are they have known what or accomplished the task that I had prepared for them. So I will make clear that they have all understand what the task and what the task and the unit and the information I try to teach them. So now one of my strengths is the capacity to create activities that may be interesting for the students. I have I pay much detail for doing activities that are not boring, because I also get bored about the activities I don't like. So I try to make them attractive for everyone. Well, and one of my strengths is that for for doing these kind of tasks, these activities, interesting, I have a really good reading comprehension. So I could focus on what to teach or what to ask for the students. The challenges, obviously, to be more informed about the actual likes regarding literature, because I have to find what really likes to the students for them to not get bored with the task I create. So also I have to stick to the times and try to do it everything as was scheduled. Also that this is like a kind of obvious thing is to foster reading in the students. I don't know, because at school I wasn't that reading wasn't like that fostered to me. So I will have to think of what I have to do for foster the reading for my students. That's my presentation.
Thank you.